Lately, I've thought about making an effort to keep at least a couple of Apple products around my home, for comparison purposes with what I do on Android, but also in case my son needs one for some reason. I recently made a 2017 iPad Pro screen repair video, and today I'm starting work on repairing this 2018 MacBook Pro with a screen that is totally dead, based on what the previous owner said. To see what I do with this, stay tuned. I picked up this 13.3-inch 2018 MacBook Pro from eBay for $450, $500 with tax and shipping. I had shopped for about a month, which isn't very long, but I was anxious to try my repair skills on a MacBook, and this was the best value on eBay for damaged goods and repair price versus working condition price. One thing I want to do before I commit to buying a new screen to replace this dead one is to do some YouTube research to see if this totally dead screen may not be as dead as it seems. From what I've learned over the years watching videos from Louis Rossmann is that MacBooks are notorious for having all kinds of board level problems that look like simpler problems like a defective screen or battery. An example of using this knowledge was when I came across some MacBooks being sold with the phrase in the ad saying, "bad battery." These were 2018 MacBooks. It could be true that the battery was bad, but there were 3 of them, and common sense kinda told me a 2-year-old battery can't already have gone bad, but more so, I knew that it was highly possible that these 3 MacBooks could have suffered the same board level problem. Under different circumstances, I might have bought those MacBooks, since replacing a battery is about as simple a repair as you can get. But I know from past Louis Rossmann videos that if it's a worst case scenario, this is a board level repair and the kind of purchase I'm trying to avoid. Another good reason to watch Louis's channel is that he's a very entertaining New Yorker and very passionate about his line of work, as well as provides interesting insight on other New York related subject matter like e-bikes and real estate. As mentioned, I'm going to see what I can come up with by using the Louis Rossmann channel as a sort of reference manual. Any video that looks like it talks about no screen image, I'll tag it as a watch later, then go through them all at a later time to see if there's a simpler and cheaper fix than replacing the entire screen assembly. So these are the videos I've tagged to show up on my watch later list. Now I have to watch each one and see if there are simpler things I can do to fix the screen, other than replacing the entire screen assembly. This is going to be a long process, so I'll be back in a bit. My 2018 MacBook Pro finally arrived, and I'm a little anxious to see what I'm getting. I know for sure the screen is not supposed to be working, but I hope I don't find too much else wrong. I'm surprised to have gotten the charger because I'm pretty sure in the ad the seller mentioned no charger. That's one thing I thought was strange about eBay, was that a lot of sellers won't give you a charger with the device. I'll do a power on test first, just to see what happens during a basic boot up. The battery seems dead, so luckily the seller gave me the charger. For some reason I kinda forgot the screen was supposed to be cracked, but seeing it now rings a bell, and I'll need an external monitor. Because I've never had Apple products ever, I don't have stuff like cables on hand to test the video on this laptop on an external monitor. It's something I'll have to start working on, adding to my ever-growing collection of cables. Time to inspect the PCB. I'm not familiar with PCB work, so in looking at this board, if I don't see anything obvious, like a chip that exploded or dark burn marks, I probably won't realize if anything is wrong. But from what I can tell, everything looks okay, nothing obvious. In taking another look at the screen, it looks like it does light up. Not completely, but it looks like it's still working. So for now, I'm going to attribute the no picture to all the cracks that cover a lot of the bottom half of the screen. Fingers crossed, that's all it is. After charging the battery for about 6 hours, I did retest the boot up without the charger connected, just to make sure the battery was charging. And it looks like the battery is working fine, so it's a relief to see that the MacBook not booting up when I first unpacked it wasn't something more serious. Also, I got lucky and decided to check another bin of spare parts and found the USB-C to HDMI cable I needed to connect an external monitor. So I did, then upgraded the OS to Big Sur, and everything looks good. Performance-wise, everything feels smooth and snappy. After evaluating the MacBook, I've decided to go with the obvious and replace the entire screen assembly. Had the screen not been cracked and had no picture, that's when I would have needed a lot more help from the YouTube videos to track down the underlying problem, but this repair seems pretty straightforward. I had initially thought about fixing the minor blemishes that can be seen around the perimeter of the MacBook, but then I realized most of them will no longer exist once I replace the screen assembly. The ones that will be left I think I can live with, so I feel I'm okay with the dings on the shell. Before I get into the screen assembly, I want to show you this video I came across in shopping for screens. I'm not going to mention any names, but you have to watch for scams, which can be hard to do. What probably happened to this guy was he shopped for the cheapest screen assembly he could find and ended up with this. That's not how a MacBook hinge is supposed to work. Here's a time-lapse of the teardown of my MacBook Pro to remove the damaged screen assembly. In the description of this video is a video link that I watched a couple of times to get a good idea of how to separate the screen from the rest of the unit. The video was very detailed and very clearly recorded, which made it easy for me to learn this process. One thing I've noticed about using other videos to learn how to do something is that a well-done video will give you the confidence to try something on your own, whereas even a slightly less detailed video can leave you feeling like the process is still beyond your skill level. This is why I always leave links to other videos whenever I find a good one that I've learned from. I know after watching some of my own videos, I noticed places where I could have done it different to make my point a little clearer, so referencing other videos helps elaborate more clearly the point I'm trying to make. As far as purchasing a replacement screen, it takes time to find a reasonable price. After about 2 weeks of looking, I got lucky and this one showed up on my eBay list of replacement screens. From past experience, I've only encountered prices like this from China sellers, but I try to avoid China due to the long shipping times and the expensive cost of returning an item. So here's the old and new screen assembly. I'll put everything back together, see how the replacement screen works, and hope there's nothing else wrong, which I'm pretty confident there isn't. I know I've seen other YouTubers reassemble a MacBook only part ways to test the screen. I'm not real familiar with doing that, so I'm going to reassemble almost everything until I get back to a point where I know the screen should display something. It took me about 2 hours, but I finally got to a point where I felt I could test, which for me required putting almost everything back together, but I was glad to see the screen working. A good cleaning with alcohol and I'm done. I did have an issue with the Touchbar not turning on, but when doing a quick search online, I found the Touchbar giving out seemed to be common and the fix is simple. I'll probably work on it soon, but later. I'm glad I was able to restore this 2018 MacBook Pro for a total cost of just under $795, which is not too bad. What helped was finding a good price on a replacement screen on eBay for $280, $293 with tax and shipping. This video was more on the technological side of my DIY passion, but a side that I've always enjoyed. Leave your questions and comments in the comment section below. That's all I have for now, and I'll catch you in the next video.